Welcome to this IELTS Listening Practice Test, brought to you by Spinta, your partner in English exam success. This test simulates the real IELTS listening experience with authentic question types, timing, and difficulty levels you'll encounter on exam day. You'll hear the audio only once, just like in the actual test, so stay focused and keep your pencil ready. Remember to read the questions carefully during the preparation time, and transfer your answers accurately. This practice will help you build confidence, improve your listening skills, and familiarize yourself with the IELTS format.
Part 1. Now look at Part 1. You will hear a man telephoning a language school to ask about a course. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning, City Language School. Sophia speaking.
Hello there. I'm calling to inquire about one of your language courses for my wife.
Of course. I'd be happy to help. Which language is she interested in?
She's keen to learn Spanish. She has no prior experience, so she would need a complete beginner's course.
Perfect. Our Spanish beginner's course is one of our most popular. Could I take your wife's name for the inquiry form?
Yes, her name is Penelope Hayes.
Is that Hayes as in Hayes?
That's right. So, when does the next course start?
Our next intake begins on the 10th of October.
October the 10th. And how long does the course run for?
It's a 12-week course running one evening a week from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
12 weeks. And what is the total fee?
The full course fee is £240.
240, I see. A couple more questions if that's okay.
Of course, go ahead.
How large are the classes? My wife would prefer a smaller group.
We deliberately keep them small to ensure everyone gets a chance to participate. We have a maximum of 15 students per class.
15. That sounds ideal. And what's the teaching methodology? Is it very grammar-focused?
Not at all. While we do cover grammar, the main emphasis is on building confidence, so there's a strong focus on speaking skills right from the first lesson.
A focus on speaking. She'll like that. Does she need to buy any books?
No. All materials are provided. The course fee includes a free textbook, which they get to keep.
Oh, a textbook is included. That's good. And where do the classes take place?
All our evening classes are held in the Newton Building. It's just opposite the main university library.
The Newton Building. Okay. And are there any other benefits for students?
Yes, all our students get a student card, which entitles them to a discount on tickets for various cultural events we organize throughout the year, like film nights and international food festivals.
A discount on events. That's a nice extra. Thank you. You've been very helpful.
Part 2. Now look at Part 2. You will hear a librarian giving a welcome talk to new members of a city library. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to City Central Library. My name is Mr. Davies and I'm the head librarian. We're delighted to have you as new members. Before you explore, I'd like to give you a quick orientation. The first thing to say is that we are a public library, not an academic one. That means our primary mission is to serve everyone in the community, from the youngest toddlers to our oldest residents. Your new library card is your key to everything we offer. With a standard membership, you can borrow up to 10 items at a time. That includes books, audiobooks, and DVDs. The loan period is 3 weeks for all items. Now you may be wondering what happens if you don't bring a book back on time. Well, you'll be pleased to hear that a couple of years ago we decided to get rid of all late fees. So there are no fines for overdue books. We believe this encourages people to keep reading without worry. We do ask, however, that you try to bring things back on time so other members can enjoy them. To help you manage your loans, I highly recommend our library app. You can't read ebooks on it, but you can use it to search our catalog, reserve items, and, most usefully, to renew your borrowed items for another 3 weeks without having to come in. Now, let me tell you about the layout of the building. You are currently on the ground floor, which is our dedicated children's and family area. The section right at the back is our special zone for young children, with picture books and comfy seating. If you take the stairs or the lift up one level, you'll find yourself on the mezzanine. This is our relaxing reading area, where you'll find all our newspapers and magazines. Going up again, the first floor is where you will find our main non-fiction collection, and all the computers for public use. Continuing up, the second floor is our dedicated quiet study space. This is where we have our reference collection and our group study rooms, which can be booked in advance. Down from the ground floor in the basement, you'll find our most valuable collection, the local history archives. This is a fantastic resource for anyone researching the history of our city. Finally, as you look around the main open area, the atrium, you'll see we have display boards set up. This area is where we hold exhibitions by local artists, which change every month. We hope this makes the library a vibrant and inspiring place to be. We'll now have a short Q&A session before you are free to explore. Does anyone have any questions?
Part 3. Now look at Part 3. You will hear 2 marketing students, May and Javier, discussing their presentation on social media influencers with their tutor, Dr. Chen. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Okay, May, Javier. Let's discuss your presentation plan on influencer marketing. What were your initial thoughts on the topic?
Well, my main worry was how fast everything changes. It's such a current topic that we were concerned the information would quickly become outdated, even as we were writing it.
A valid point. It means you must use very current sources. So, let's look at your structure. Your introduction. It's a bit passive. How can you grab the audience's attention?
We could start with a question, perhaps. Ask the audience how many of them follow an influencer. We could make it more interactive from the start.
An excellent idea. Next, your section on the rise of the micro-influencer. It's a key trend.
We've explained the concept, but maybe it's a bit theoretical. We could use a real-world example to illustrate it. Perhaps show a small, successful campaign.
Yes, a concrete example is always better. Now, the part on measuring return on investment, or ROI, where did you get this data?
From a marketing agency's website. They published a report.
I see. As I'm sure you know, data from agencies can be very biased. They have a vested interest in showing high returns. You need to get data from a new source, a more neutral one. Look for an academic study or an independent market research firm.
We'll find a better source. For the section on ethical considerations, we wanted to do something more engaging than just listing points.
We had an idea to create a short video clip, maybe a montage of news reports, about a recent controversy. It would be more powerful than just text on a slide.
I like that. A video clip would work well. And your final section on the future of influencer marketing?
We have a lot of predictions here. Maybe too many. It feels a bit unfocused.
I agree. It's better to discuss one or two key trends in depth than list 10 superficially. You should probably shorten this section and just focus on the most important points.
Okay, that's very clear. So, Javier, what did you find most interesting about micro-influencers?
For me, the key thing was that they are perceived as more authentic. Because they're smaller, their audience feels a stronger, more genuine connection with them, and that leads to greater trust.
Exactly. That's the core of their appeal. And as I said, the data on ROI you have, it's weak because it comes from biased sources that want to sell their services.
We understand. We need independent data. In our discussion about ethics, what do you think is the biggest issue, May? I think it has to be the lack of transparency with followers. When influencers don't clearly label paid partnerships, they are misleading their audience. That's a fundamental breach of trust.
A very important point to make. Okay, you have a clear path forward. What's the very next thing you'll do?
I think we need to formalize this new plan and assign research tasks for the new information we need to find so we know exactly who is doing what.
A sensible approach. Let me know if you need any help.
Part 4. Now look at Part 4. You will hear part of a university lecture on the topic of cognitive biases. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning. In today's psychology lecture, we're going to delve into a fascinating and fundamental aspect of human cognition, cognitive biases. So what are they? In simple terms, cognitive biases are systematic errors in our thinking that affect the decisions and judgments that we make. They are essentially patterns of deviation from rational judgment. It's important to understand that these biases aren't necessarily a flaw. They are a result of our brain's attempt to simplify a very complex world. They act as mental shortcuts or heuristics that allow us to process information quickly and efficiently. However, they can often lead to poor decisions. Let's explore a few key examples. First, and perhaps most common, is confirmation bias. This is our natural tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms or supports our pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses. We actively seek out evidence that we are right and ignore evidence that we are wrong. This can create a dangerous, quote, chamber effect, which is amplified in the modern world by social media algorithms that feed us content they know we will agree with. Next, let's consider the anchoring bias. This bias describes our tendency to rely too heavily on the very first piece of information we receive when making a decision. This initial piece of information, or anchor, becomes a reference point that influences our subsequent judgments. This is a powerful technique used widely in marketing and negotiation. For example, a high initial price for a product makes any subsequent discount seem much more attractive, even if the final price is still high. The anchor has set our perception of value. A third common bias is the availability heuristic. This is a mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to a person's mind when evaluating a specific topic, concept, method, or decision. Essentially, we overestimate the importance of information that is easy to recall. This is why, for example, people often have a greater fear of flying than of driving, even though driving is statistically far more dangerous. The dramatic and vivid nature of news stories about plane crashes makes them highly available in our memory, leading us to misjudge the actual risk. So can we overcome these biases? The answer is yes, but it isn't easy. It requires conscious effort and a greater level of self-awareness. The first step is simply to know that these biases exist. By understanding the common pitfalls in our thinking, we can start to notice them in ourselves and in others. A good practical strategy to counter bias is to actively play devil's advocate. Challenge your own assumptions. Make a deliberate effort to seek out different perspectives and evidence that contradicts your own views. This forces you to engage with a topic more deeply and can lead to more rational, well-rounded conclusions.
And pencils down. You've survived another IELTS listening marathon. If your brain feels like it just ran a mental obstacle course, congratulations. That means you're doing it right. Want to torture yourself with more tests? We mean enhance your skills? Head to Spinta.org. That's Spinta.org, where we've got reading, writing, speaking practice, and vocabulary games that are actually fun. Yes, fun and IELTS in the same sentence. We're rebels like that. Thanks for listening with Spinta. Now go treat yourself to something nice. You've earned it. Spinta, push forward, achieve more.